Victor 3, hold the air. I see the subject inside. Looks like he's got a gun in his hand and he's pointing at the clerk. Guys, I've got the south covered behind you. Watch the crossfire. Running southbound, Rob. He's coming right at you.
All units, Victor 3, Victor 5 are fighting with one. Hold the air.
Victor 3, slow down. Subject in custody. Firearm recovered.
Copy that. Command clear. Subject is in custody for the robbery. Firearms recovered.
What's in the box?
Welcome back to Hold the Air podcast. We're ready to do another What's in the Box. Seated next to me is Rob Forbes.
My man, Kaz. Yeah. Love being in the studio with you, brother.
Hell yeah. So this box thing, the idea came to us when we were at a Christmas party, right? We had all of our friends, our former coworkers, and they signed a bunch of cards and they asked a bunch of questions. We said, listen, we're going to be on the podcast. We want to fill this box up with a bunch of questions. We know there's nonsense in this box.
Oh, yeah.
We have never looked in this box. We don't know what we're pulling out. Swear to God. But there's some interesting topics of conversation to be had out of this box.
For sure. And here's what's cool too. Last time that we recorded, we put our email out there saying, hey, if you want to submit to what's in the box, email us at holdtheairpodcast@gmail.com. We're getting some responses that are in there, bro.
Yeah. It's funny you say that.
So those ones can't be anonymous, obviously, but we don't know when or where. But I think it's cool that the audience is giving us some feedback and they're coming in. So keep them coming.
Yeah, 100%. Did my sister, shout out to my sister Janie in New York, called me. She said she had a hoot watching the What's in the Box, and she's actually going to send us a question.
Yeah, man,
all the way from New York to land.
And here's the thing: even though the box started with a bunch of cops that we worked with before we retired, so that's where all the immaturity is going to come from the box, right?
Sure.
Add alcohol to a bunch of cops,
yeah.
Insert immaturity, right? Yeah. But that is not our only audience. Obviously, we know our audience through the leverage of the internet. It's everywhere and anyone and anytime, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what helps keeps it random too. But our perspective isn't just to the buddies that we used to work with.
Right.
It's across the board. So keep them coming.
All right. So this is typically how we do this, right?
Rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
Right, see who draws.
All right. Ready? One and done, right?
One and done.
All right, cool. All right. So
wait, paper covers rock.
Paper covers rock. Pull it, and you get to read it to me. That's podcast policy. You win rock, paper, scissors. You get to be the puller and the reader, and the other one has to answer first.
All right. All right. Let's see. Please describe how you can arrive on a calm scene and find the correct button to turn it into pure chaos.
If I'm going to crank something up, it's very likely on purpose, right? I'm cranking it up because we're not getting an efficient response to this. And this is what I've learned is you cannot go from Mr. Nice Guy and then try to ratchet something up now that we need to take action on something, right? The street does not really respond to that very well. Strategically, right? Then it's whoa. And now people are on their heels, right? Now it's very easy to come down and bring them with you as far as the temperature, I mean. Especially earlier in my career, I felt like the first tool in my toolbox was the hammer. And what I found was because I felt like the first tool that I was going to grab was a hammer, everything that I was looking for was a nail. When I say hammer, I mean like the emotional hammer. I'm not saying just go out there beat people up. I'm not talking about that. But the strategy of it, of emotionally ratcheting something up, ramping it up intentionally because you want to essentially, in my mind, I'm We were called here because this is a mess. We are paid to take action. We need to unmess this thing. And if we're not getting the response, then let's increase the temperature of how this thing feels so that we at least get the eyes on us as the police to say, whoa, they ain't messing around.
Well, I mean, what we're describing is the homicide scene, right? Where it's complete chaos and people are going into our crime scene and we're trying to figure out who's our better witnesses. We're trying to figure out what to do in that moment, and we're not getting any cooperation from a crowd that's in chaos. Well, then you have to ramp it up.
Right.
You're going to have to make an example of someone. You're going to have to walk over to that person who's in your crime scene and take their ass to jail. And you're going to have to get loud with them. You're going to have to put the bracelets on them. You're going to walk them over to the car. They're going to be yelling and screaming, hey, that's my cousin. That's my this. Well, right now, you're causing so much of a disturbance that if I don't match this and show you like we are in control of the scene, you can't do that calmly with a passive tone in all scenarios. Sometimes it works. I don't think it's a great idea to match tone for tone. I think if there was 10 incidences, you'd want to not match tone for tone and you'd get more success out of it. But there are house parties that could turn into chaos, right? If you don't, you could drive by and think that you're doing your job, right? And do nothing and then come back to a shooting scene because you did nothing. Or you could pull up and say, this is going to stop, and match their energy, ramp it up, take somebody to jail. Now they know the police are serious, and maybe that's avoided. The follow-up call to a nasty house party or the bars emptying out. It's impossible. What viewers don't understand sometimes is when police are put in situations where the tone is so loud, a bar emptying out at the end of the night, huge block parties, the gas station at 2:15, where everybody's meeting up with their cars and they're doing donuts and they're dancing on the hoods. You walk in there, you say tools, right?
Yeah, man.
With soft grit sandpaper.
Seriously.
You're going to get run over.
That's
you got to
right.
walk in there with your overheads on, sirens on, and let them know, no, this isn't going to happen anymore. You guys, we're shutting this thing down.
That's right.
You match it or elevate above it, and then once you start to see that the crowd's responding to that, you're getting some results, and then, like you say, you have the option of going down with them. You walk in there passively, drive by too many times, they're not going to take you serious.
100%. Here's the key piece of the puzzle, my man, and I know you're going to appreciate this. You never let your mouth write a check that your butt can't cash. Right? So if I get in the zone because the thing is out of control and I'm strategically going to ramp this thing up. Strategically means what? On purpose, right? If I'm going to on purpose ratchet this thing up because we need to go over the top of something, get the attention grabber, and now we can start chipping away and bringing this back down, right? If I say do this or else you're going to be arrested, trust and believe I will cash that check, right? I would never say out of emotion, out of just raw emotion, where the police do this or I'm going to take you to jail. And in the back of my mind saying to myself, I can't do that, right? If it's got to that point, believe me, I mean it.
Right.
And I think that that's wildly important because otherwise, if there is not that attached to it, now you're just emotionally out of control, and it's not and it's not strategic.
Right. And that's where mistakes happen.
That's where mistakes happen.
Hey, welcome back to the Hold the Air podcast. We've got some really, really cool information for our viewers. We've got a charity event coming up, Hometown Heroes Hockey Showdown. Rob, tell them what's up.
February 15th, Munn Ice Arena. It doesn't get any better than that in East Lansing. The doors open at 4. The game is going to start at 5. It's going to be the police versus the fire. They call it the lawmen versus the hosers. And the proceeds from this are going to go to a Lansing charity called Footprints of Michigan that's about giving shoes and boots and footwear to Lansing area homeless, man. It's going right in our backyard. Feels right. We want to pack the stands. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, man. If you guys have not been to Munn Ice Arena since it's been redone. It is a beautiful, beautiful venue for a hockey game. This is a great charity event for a great cause. Don't miss it. February 15th at Mun Ice Arena.
The QR code is attached to the screen there. Tickets are $10 a piece. Let's pack it out. Thanks, everybody.
It really leans into so many scenarios as I'm sitting there thinking about this.
Man.
You know, the traffic stop is pretty mild, right?
Sure.
You pull over, we walk up, we identify ourselves, we tell you, you know, I'm John Cosmo with Lance Police Department. I pulled you over for such and such reason, right? Now, if you've got that traffic stop, when I say that traffic stop, the guy's sitting on a pistol, or there's a pistol in the car and there's multiple occupants in the car with pistols, you're not going to get a whole bunch of cooperation at the point of contact, right? There's going to be a lot of times the streets think, okay, if I just start yelling and screaming at this cop, they're going to back off. Well, if you know you're there making a legitimate stop and you back off, well, that's not the tool, the right tool for that moment. You've got to match them, right? To a certain degree,
spot on.
To a certain degree.
Or you at the very least, you need to recognize the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
That's happening, because that's a clue.
We lead with professionalism, right?
100%.
So we lead with professionalism, but that doesn't mean that if it's not given back to us, that we just stay there and we don't advance, right? We're paid to be professionals, right?
Yes.
We're not paid to be passive. We're not paid to walk away when someone uses a tone with us. We're paid to be patient with the tone. But now when you start thinking, okay, wait a minute, before I pulled this car over, it didn't stop for 3 or 4 blocks. There was a bunch of furtive movements in this car. And now as soon as I walk up to the door, they're yelling and screaming at me. Do I match that yelling and screaming? Or do I say, hey, listen, no, hold on. I pulled you over because you were speeding, but I did observe the following things. And now they're still yelling and screaming at you. You've got to take control of that. You've got to ramp it up, right? And gain control of that situation, because it's going to go sideways real fast.
That is an outstanding point. And when you were describing that, you know what I was thinking of as you were describing that? So many people saw it. You know, it went viral on YouTube and everything else. And I'm sure you saw the video as I did when Tyreek Hill, well, I don't even know if he still plays anymore, because he quit the team. Like, he walked off the field in the middle of the game and everything else. But Tyreek Hill, for those who don't know, he's a professional football player. He was pulled over on his way to a game on football Sunday. He's a professional football player, and he's essentially, what it sounded like is he was late for work, which we have all been, right? And he's speeding on his way to work, right? And he gets pulled over by police, and watch the video for yourselves. I'm not trying to go into a critique or anything like that. All I'm saying is, as you're describing that, right, there is a time to ratchet it up, it's just like an attention grabber, right? But now that you've got it, now you've got control, which they did with him, right? He was handcuffed and sat down, right? Now that is your golden opportunity to start mending this thing and start bringing it down. And that's where things can be explained in detail, right? The threat is over.
Right.
Essentially, that's the most important piece of the puzzle for me, right? Is everything is unknown. Now we need to get the attention. We need to gain control of the situation. And then once we have that, now we can start sifting out the details calmly, professionally. And not that I'm giving a pass to being unprofessional. I love how you describe that. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying it's strategic. We're saying it's a tool. Right. But those guys those officers with Tyreek Hill, they continued the chirp war after it was said and done.
They took the bait. Yeah.
They took the bait.
The emotional bait, right?
They took the emotional bait.
Yeah. And
don't take the bait.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't take the bait. No. You can win with tone. You can de-escalate with tone. You can manage the tone of things. Like, but you're right, dude. They got Tyreek out of the car. And for all intents and purposes, the threat level of the traffic stop went to 0. All the chirping that came afterwards. And obviously, in my opinion, there was some entitlement on his part because he is who he is. And listen, I'm a fan of Tyreek Hill. I think he's a fantastic football player.
In my own opinion, right, and likely yours too, is when he has the window up and it's tinted and you can't see. Boy, we're ratcheting this thing up in a hurry, Jack.
Because you got
Right?
guys.
Because I don't know. Right. It turns out it's Tyreek Hill. Like if that's you and me and we stopped. Look, man, I remember, this is total sidebar here. I was working afternoon shift and this Cadillac Escalade with tinted windows goes, I'm talking flying, bro. Flying. I couldn't see nothing. I had no clue. I end up stopping this car, right? And my family and I, we love the Lansing Lugnuts. It's a semi-pro baseball team here in Lansing. It's a bunch of guys that play for the Lugnuts, and they're late for practice.
Yeah.
Okay, they're late for practice.
Right.
Right. And this is years ago, right? And our my wife and I, we have a son, and he was playing. I think he was playing t-ball or baseball at the time or whatever. And as soon as I realized, I couldn't see through the tint.
Yeah.
Right now, the difference is contrasting to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill kept ratcheting it up with his non-compliance.
Yeah.
My guys in the Escalade, 100% compliant from the jump.
Yep.
Right, but I couldn't see.
Yeah.
But as soon as I pulled them over, I was level 10, man.
Yeah.
Where is the freaking fire, y'all? You guys are going to run somebody over and you're going to kill somebody driving like that because they were flying, right? And it was, coach is going to make us run until we puke. We were going to try to get there, whatever. And you know what I did? I could have done a lot of things. I could have reckless driving. I could have towed the car. Oh, you umpteen things. Said, which one of you dudes got a baseball in your bag? Because all you dudes are going to sign that thing. I'm going to give it to my kid. And one of you guys goes pro and is, in the Hall of Fame, 30 years from now or whatever. I'm going to get, there's the ball, you know what I mean? And they did, and it was high fives and good luck and go Lugnuts, right? That's what they should, there's an inch of that they had an opportunity to do with Tyreek Hill, right? And they missed it.
Right.
Because they took the bait.
Yep.
They took the bait, and at the end, I'm talking about the end.
Right.
In the beginning, where he's got the window up and it's tinted and they can't see, y'all, that's unsafe.
Yeah.
Right? That window is getting smashed because I got a wife and kids to go home to, and you ain't the one that's going to be shooting my ass.
And
right? Because we don't know.
And it happens. Cops
and it
get
happens.
shot through glass all the time.
It happens.
All the time.
You can't ever take that away. How dangerous that is because it's all unknown.
The first time I saw that, I literally said to myself, that could have been a hilarious internet moment, right?
It could have been.
Well, his nickname's the Cheetah, bro.
Yeah, man.
And he's fast as hell.
He is so fast.
He rolls that window down and just has some fun with the idea. Hey, listen, man. Just like you said, that could have been one of those moments you had with the Lugnuts guys. 100%. But he didn't start there, right? And the officers are on the outside, from what I could tell, being as polite as they possibly could. But once it's time, I think what Tony's getting to, what could be translated from this question, is: do you have that dog in you? When you're a police officer, you got to know, right, that you know how to do the job, but you can't be pushed around.
You can't get motherfucked and just tuck your tail and be like, well, I guess there's nothing we can do here, and I'm just gonna go over here and get a cup of coffee somewhere and hope nobody calls me. Hell no.
But to put it in perspective, in my mind, this is a great question. It really is.
It really is, Tony.
Because post 2020, dude. I saw before I left LPD, that there was a lot of hesitation in these younger officers. You were at FTO.
Yeah,
I was too. You could see that they were afraid to go push the button, right? It might turn into chaos, it might not, but you've got to let whoever you're dealing with know it isn't going that way. We're the police, and we have to ensure your safety, right? Because if you nut up, you could get hurt too, right? We don't get in our patrol cars looking to hurt people, but if you're in your car trying to get away with something, somebody could get hurt in that scenario, and it's our job, right, to ramp it up, create that chaos that might feel uncomfortable, right? But it's control. If you're the cop that can come out and know, I've got a go button, I got a shut off button, and I know how to bounce between the two. And I think as a young officer, you start to learn that. Hopefully, you get to that point where you trust yourself in those moments where okay, I've got to take the lead here and wrap this thing up because something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, we don't pitch a perfect game.
Oh, we don't.
We don't pitch a perfect
we
game.
don't.
So in the beginning of our careers, we're learning, and in the middle of our careers, we're getting better. In the end of our careers, we figured it out for the most part. And shout out to all the FTOs, right? Because this is important. You got to teach your FTO. You got to teach your Cubs how to turn it on and how to shut it off. I mean, that should be one of the most important skills you're learning when you get out of the training program.
Yeah, man.
Is when to be calm and when to step into chaos.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah.
My
Thanks,
man.
Tony. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
man.
it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love you.
All right.
All right.